Hey, today we're going to be talking about the elusive reverse diet. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you've probably heard me talk about the reverse diet before. I live and die by the reverse diet as I believe it's one of the best ways to not only lose weight but keep it off long term. Let's break it down, but first I want to show you my credentials, right? I want to show you my transformation and my client's transformation. Almost every single woman, honestly, probably like every single woman that comes to work with me, I put them through a reverse diet before I put them into a calorie deficit. And I'm kind of going to explain why in this video. So, a reverse diet is basically when you slowly increase your calories over time while your weight stays within the same 1 to 5 pound range. So, practically speaking, let's say you're my client, I just brought you on, and I tell you we're going to start a reverse diet together. So the first thing you do is for one whole week, you're just going to weigh your food, track your calories, and see how much food you're eating on average. You're just observing your behaviors around food. We're not trying to change how you're eating just yet. And we discover that on average, you're eating about 1,400 calories per day, right? This is a very low amount of food to eat. So our goal is to slowly increase your calories at least into the 2,000 calorie range. I've noticed that that's a pretty good place for most women to start a calorie deficit from at a minimum. At a minimum, I want my clients to be eating around 2,000 calories per day, unless you're like a very small person, like very short person, 2,000 really does seem to be the sweet spot for adult women who are strength training and moving their bodies well, right? So the way that we do this is we're going to increase your calories by 100 calorie increments. So we start at 1,400, we go ahead and we bump you up to 1,500. You eat there for about 2 to 4 weeks while we're observing your weight, and we're looking for your weight to be stable. Then, if we see that your weight is stable, then we increase your calories again until we get you up into the 2,000 calorie range. So that's practically how a reverse diet works. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why am I not gaining weight while doing it? So there are a couple theories floating around that our metabolisms do this thing called metabolic adaptation. And you can actually teach your body how to eat less and survive, and you can teach your body how to eat more and survive. So what a lot of people are saying is that if you increase your calories slowly enough, you give your metabolism a time to adapt to how much food you're eating, and you can teach your body how to eat more. I think that's a cool theory, but I heard Dr. Mike talk about this, and he was just like, there's just not enough research evidence for him to back up that claim. And he believes that the reason why a reverse diet works is much more likely due to lifestyle change. Let me explain. Most people, before they start lifting and before they start counting their calories or doing a reverse diet, they have had no real structure or prioritization around their food. Let me paint you a picture. I've seen this archetype several times. You wake up, maybe you have an iced coffee. If you're lucky, maybe you get something from Starbucks or you'll eat a granola bar. Then a majority of your day, you really don't eat anything. And then at night after work, you finally have like your first real meal of the day. And it's probably going to be something that you're eating out with friends or just something that's quick like Chick-fil-A or any other type of fast food. And you tell yourself, wow, I eat so little. Anytime that I eat more than this, I gain a bunch of weight. But what you're failing to acknowledge is that there's a lot of probably calories in your iced coffee. Even though it feels like you're eating very little food because you're only having one meal, what if that one meal is 2,000 calories? Because you're not aware of how much oil and dressing is on it, right? How many calories are in fries and a milkshake? It low-key can like blow your mind. If you've never counted your calories before, you'll realize that you had no idea what you were putting into your body. So the reverse diet, I think the reason why it works is because in order to count your calories, you have to eat more home cooked. You're focusing on hitting your protein. You're focusing on eating enough fiber, enough fruits and vegetables. So even though it feels like you're eating more food, because it's coming from whole food sources, that are lower in calories and higher in volume, it feels like you're eating a lot of food, bro. But it's not. Like, I think I just repeated myself, but you're eating less calories but for more volume. So I'll see this with my clients that have struggled to lose weight their entire lives, bro. They'll start counting their calories and they'll start doing a reverse diet, and we're eating 1,600 calories a day, and they're in disbelief. They're like, why am I so stuffed? I'm full all the time. I'm like, yeah, because you go from 0 to 100. When you think of dieting, right, you think of eating less and eating only salad, but that combination together, it doesn't work. It's not sustainable. It's no wonder why so many people fall off from their diets. Maybe they're able to stick with it just long enough to lose however much weight really quickly, but then they always get it back because it's never sustainable, because they never truly stopped to understand what is in their food, so that even once the diet is over, the lifestyle persists. So that's what a reverse diet is doing. It's creating awareness around food. Not only that, but the reverse diet was invented by people who lift. It was invented by bodybuilders. So oftentimes, people who are reverse dieting, they're coupling it with strength training. So not only are you, for the first time in your life, actually feeding your body with real food, bro. Real food! Oh my God, that your body actually can put to work. So you're already starting to feel better, more energized, but you're also strength training. You're introducing a new stimulus to your body. So you're eating all of this food, and finally this food is going to the right places. It's going to your glutes, it's going to your toned arms, to your delts, to your quads. And so you're moving your body more. So yes, maybe you're eating more food over time, more calories, but you're also moving more than you've ever moved before. You're getting your steps in, you're exercising. So overall, it's just such a positive introduction into fitness. The goal isn't to immediately shrink yourself. The goal is to nourish my body for the first time in my life and put this food to fucking work. What food do I need to eat that is going to fuel my performance in the gym? It's a completely different relationship to food and to our bodies. That's why the reverse diet is so powerful. It literally rejects diet culture so hard. Because what is diet culture saying? Hey, you need to lose as much weight as possible, as quickly as possible, or you're a piece of shit. The reverse diet is teaching you a completely different thing. It's teaching you patience. It's teaching you to not put so much weight on the number on the scale. It's teaching you the foundations that you need so that when your body is primed for a fat loss phase, it's going to be the easiest thing you've ever done, because you've already established those habits. And lifting regularly is fun for you. You've already unlocked. You don't even need to think about it. Eating enough is easy for you. Eating 3 square meals a day, meal prepping your food ahead of time, these are all easy for you. So when it's time to go into a calorie deficit, you're not changing anything. The only thing you're changing is you're eating maybe 100 to 200 less calories than you were eating before, and you're in a deficit and maybe getting a couple more steps in. Dude, isn't that fucking magical? So yes, maybe there are some metabolic changes happening when you're reverse dieting, but really, you're just being a healthier person is what's happening. You're moving your body more and you're eating less and you're eating more of the right foods without you even really realizing. Because before, maybe it felt like you were eating less, but you were eating less foods, but they were higher calories. So you were probably eating more than you thought, especially if you're binge drinking on the weekends. That'll get you, dude. This Coke tastes so good right now. I like to think about it as like Mr. Miyagi when he's teaching the Karate Kid about karate and he's making him fucking catch flies with chopsticks. And Karate Kid is like, why the fuck are you making me catch flies with chopsticks? Like, I thought you were going to be teaching me karate. But it's like, no, first, I need to teach you the skills, the characteristics, and the mindset that you need so that you can be successful at karate. That is basically what the reverse diet is. Teaching you the skills, the habits, the characteristics, so that when it comes time to do a fat loss phase, it's the easiest thing you've ever done. Not the easiest thing you've ever done. It's still going to be challenging, but it's going to be a challenge worth doing. It's going to be a challenge that doesn't feel like you're starving the whole way through. If my clients let me, I will reverse diet them for as long as they let me, because you're going to be building a shit ton of muscle. Maybe you're not losing that much weight on the scale, but your body is changing. You're actually fueling your body with enough calories to build muscle, right? Because what's the point of losing that fat if you have no muscle to create that shape that you're after? Believe me, I've done it. I've lost the weight without strength training, and you're just like a weird limp noodle. No shame to anyone who is a limp noodle, but that's just not what I'm going for. If you're watching this video, that's probably not what you're going for. Okay, now that you know what a reverse diet is, you understand how it works. Now let's talk about how you're going to do a reverse diet yourself. In order to explain this, we're going to use my beautiful Google Sheets. Believe it or not, these are the exact Google Sheets that I use not only for myself, but for my clients as well. I'm going to link the sheets in the show notes for you so you can have access to one as well. You can copy one and use it yourself. So for the first week, what you're going to do is you're going to weigh yourself and you're going to track your calories, protein, and fiber every single day, and you're going to load it into this little chart, okay? My best recommendation is that you have data points for every day. So you're going to weigh yourself every day. So it would look something like this, right? And then look, it spits out the weight average for you. So you're going to do the same thing with your calories, your protein, and your fiber. Some things to consider. How do I weigh myself? I always weigh myself first thing in the morning, before I eat or drink anything, and after I go to the bathroom. Most mornings I can pee. I almost can never poo. So usually I just go after I pee, and then I strip down to either completely naked, honestly, or just to my underwear. And you keep all the variables the same every single time you do this. Once you weigh yourself, you put it in the sheet. The cool thing about weighing yourself multiple times a week is that the daily weight fluctuations start to freak you out less and less. Because it's inevitable. You're going to realize that it's inevitable. Your weight is going to go up and down. What a lot of people do is they'll weigh themselves. First of all, they don't weigh themselves first thing in the morning. They'll weigh themselves on a random time of the day after they've had 2 meals, with their clothes on, after a night of binge drinking, and then they're like freaking out when their weight spikes 5 pounds. Of course your weight is going to spike 5 pounds under those conditions. You know what I mean? Anytime, bro, after I eat out or after a night of heavy drinking, my weight will spike at least 3 pounds, usually closer to 5 pounds. That's just what happens when you inflame your body in that way, you know? So that's how you're going to take your weight data. Your calorie data. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to try your hardest not to try and eat better or change what you're eating just because you are now tracking it. That first week, we really need that raw, real data. How many calories are you actually eating on average before you started trying to eat healthy? Because those are the calories that are going to give us a clue as to what's happening, right? Why have you been gaining weight, or why has it been difficult for you to lose weight? So really try your best not to judge yourself and not to cheat yourself. Eat how you normally would. The only thing that's different now is that you're now going to be tracking it, okay? Here's what you're going to notice. If you're eating out, if you're eating fast food, it can be more difficult to know for sure how many calories you're eating. Don't get caught up in the weeds, okay? The point of calorie counting isn't to be perfectly accurate. The point of calorie counting is to have a starting point, okay? Basically, what we're trying to do is we're helping you see, even though you only ate one meal, right? If you're one of those people that doesn't eat all day, and then when you finally do, you have that one big meal, it doesn't mean it was low in calories. One big meal from McDonald's, bro, or from Chick-fil-A can easily be 2,000 calories if you get like a large fry, a large Coke, and the sandwich. On God. And hella fucking sauce. And I'm not even including the milkshake, because I do like to get a milkshake from Chick-fil-A. So that's how you do that. Let me fill this out real quick so we have something to go off of. Okay, so this is usually the trend that I see with a lot of my clients is they'll eat very little like Monday through Thursday, and then on the weekend it'll be a lot of heavy drinking or heavily eating out that really spikes your calories up. So even though it feels like you're eating very little, you're probably eating more than you thought. And then for most clients, I see their protein is super low. And then for a lot of clients at first, I see that their fiber is very low as well. Okay? Your goal when you're reverse dieting is to eat at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, eat at least 20 grams of fiber per day, and start trying to make your calories more consistent. So that first week, it says that your calorie average was 1,900 calories per day. Make that your new goal. So what I usually do is I create a little goal banner. Okay, so now that we have that first week of data, we have our new calorie goal. Start by eating 1,800 calories per day. So every week you're gonna do this. Keep taking your weight average. Now you have a plan to follow. Try to your best to hit your calorie, protein, and fiber goals, and just start seeing what your weight is doing. Every 2 to 4 weeks or so, we're gonna increase those calories. So from 1,800 to 1,900, from 1,900 to 2,000. Oh, I would be remiss if I didn't show you what a reverse diet can actually look like. So this is actually my client's reverse diet chart, her data chart. Okay, pause real quick because I need to make sure I point this out because I know someone is going to need to hear this. Notice how this client is not perfect. Notice how on the weekends, oftentimes she doesn't track at all. Notice how there are many days where she doesn't weigh herself, doesn't get her weight data, several days where she doesn't get calorie data. This is normal. Your goal isn't to be as perfect as humanly possible. Your goal is to be consistent 80% of the time, okay? So just in this little screenshot here, this isn't even the full 16 weeks that she's been reversing. You see 2 weekends where she doesn't track. You see a Friday where she doesn't track. The most normal thing in the world is to not track every now and again. But also keep in mind that she's very mindful. So when she doesn't track, she doesn't go off the walls. So that's where it can be helpful to have a coach, right? Someone that you can talk to and be like, hey, how do I go about my weekends? Am I overdoing them? How can I tell that? That's a great conversation to have with your coach, number one. And then the second thing I'll say, which I kind of touch on a little bit later in the video, is how long your reverse diet lasts is really dependent on you, how quickly we can push your calories up, how quickly you can get really consistent, and how quickly you can start getting really full. This client is going to need upwards probably of 16 weeks. If every client let me, which I'm going to say later in the video, I would reverse diet them for 6 to 12 months if they let me. But most clients are like so eager to lose weight, right? That I'll reverse them for at least 12 weeks, right? At least 3 months. And then if they decide to go into a fat loss phase, I'll let them know like, hey, I would love for us to keep reversing, but I also want you to be able to make your own decisions. So there's that too. There's always going to be a benefit for reversing for as long as humanly possible and building as much muscle as possible before going into your first fat loss phase. But it can also be really fun to finally see the scale move down. That first week was our trial week where we found out that she was eating on average 1,500 calories per day. So we started her with a goal. Start by eating 1,450 to 1,550 calories per day. And we noticed that by sticking to this goal, her weight stayed the same. So we went ahead and increased her calories again, and her weight dropped over 1.5 pounds. So we increased her calories again. Her weight dropped again. And then we literally just kept increasing her calories. For whatever reason, this client, she lost weight through the reverse diet. But I must say that this does not always happen. But you can literally see here her weight dropping and her calories only increasing. So basically, the way that you know that it's time to increase food is either when your weight is dropping or your weight is staying stable. So for example, from week 1 to week 2, her weight stayed the same, so we increased food. From week 2 to week 3, her weight dropped, so we increased food again. From week 3 to week 4, her weight dropped, so we increased food again. And we just kept doing this, increasing her food every time her weight either dropped or stayed stable. And somehow she just keeps losing, y'all. I think we're finally to a place where her weight has stopped dropping, and she'll probably be ready for a fat loss phase very soon, especially since she's been letting me know recently that she's been feeling really full. So that's really awesome. The goal is to push your calories as high as you possibly can while keeping your weight within that 1 to 5 pound range. And then you also want to get to the point where you're like, bro, please stop feeding me. That's what I want for you. I want you to be able to start a fat loss phase from a point of I am so physically stuffed all the time. please stop feeding me. That is the best mindset to go into a fat loss phase with. Because what was your old mindset? Your old mindset was, fuck, I have to start a diet. Whereas now your mindset is, thank God I get to start a diet, bro. I'm so tired of stuffing myself to the gills. And you literally don't think it's possible. But if you reverse diet correctly, you will get to that point. And it is the most amazing, like, 180 point in my life. Because I've always been someone who can eat. I can always eat. And then to get to a point where I'm like, wow, I hate food right now. It is such a surreal epiphany moment. And I love when my clients that have struggled with their weight for literally their entire lives gets to feel that. And they're like, oh my God, Marina, I think I'm ready for a fat loss phase. Like, please stop feeding me. It's so beautiful. And then also because you're fueling your body correctly, your strength in the gym, bro, your performance, your energy levels, your digestion, oh my God, your mood, your outlook on life. The reverse diet is such an important part of the journey. I cannot stress this enough. It has worked so well for me and so well for my clients. Yeah. Once you do your first reverse diet, then you're ready for a fat loss phase. And then after you complete a successful fat loss phase, then you can go into a reverse diet again. And it can be this tool that you use to help you come out of a fat loss phase whenever you need. Because remember, when you're in a fat loss phase, when you're strategically starving your body for an extended period of time, you can't just come out of it and start eating everything you were eating before. Because your body is very sensitive right now to weight regain. Your thoughts about food are heightened, your interest in food is heightened, your appetite and your hunger is heightened, because your body doesn't like it that you're not feeding it, and it's trying to get back to the weight that it was. So a reverse diet helps you come out of a fat loss phase without gaining back all of the weight that you lost. So there are multiple usages for the reverse diet. And I think that's everything that I wanted to cover in this video, right? What is it? Why does it work? And how to do it yourself. Yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If you did find it helpful, please let me know by commenting down below. Let me know anything that I missed that you feel like I should talk about, or any questions that you have that was not answered in this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!